In this episode, we will be covering 5 different topics. We will have a look at, first of all, why is my substrate color looking dark? Why does my PDF look low res? How to simulate printing directly on the substrate, exporting as a keyshot file, and exporting as an image sequence. Now what? Okay, here we are. We have a nice folding carton design. If I go to Studio, however, I can see that this carton looks rather dull and dark in color. Why is that? Well, one thing you can try is going into your scene settings and making sure that you have created or used a appropriate lighting environment. And you can see how that lighting environment here is influencing the appearance of this folding carton. So go ahead and choose the Photo Studio 4 and make sure your shadow contrast is set to a minimum. So this is one way where you can kind of change the appearance of that folding carton. But more importantly, you can go into the finishing operations and have a closer look at what type of material is used for this folding carton. If this die cut was created in Arduous CAD, it more than likely than not has a substrate assigned to it. Here we can see that this structural file has an SBS20 assigned to it. We can deselect that and we can pick a different type of material, such as, for example, a high gloss coated paper with a specific texture depth and a specific color. So make sure right here that your RGB values are set to 255, both for R, G, and B, which will give you the highest, the widest type of color. When switching back to your studio window, you'll see this update button right here. Once you hit that, you'll now see your carton has a different appearance. This is one way of achieving this. If we go back to the original, so let's go ahead and pick the original substrate, and we go back to Studio. Another way to achieve this is by adding another substrate finishing operation. Now, by the way, I am picking my finishing operation from here, but if you haven't made that part of your favorites, you can always access that right here through the Esko menu, Studio Visualizer, and change substrate right there. So right here, what we're going to do now is we are going to add an operation, right? And so with this, I'm going to be looking for a board liner. So a board liner is typically an operation that's added to the corrugate material or the folding carton material. And here we can adjust how much of that relief is showing through that corrugation. So flatten or boost, right? If we pick again a gloss coated material, a gloss coated liner with a white color, 255 all around, and we assign that as a full coverage, notice that you cannot add this as an individual swatch, we'll get a similar look and feel. Here we go. So that is the way that you can fix this problem. Number 2, why does my 3D PDF look such low resolution? Well, you might have noticed here in Studio that we have 3 different types of output quality. We have Designer, Visualizer, and Ray Trace. Designer allows you to export to a PDF file right here, PDF with 3D design. As where you can see, if we cancel this and we go to Visualizer and we export, this same option is no longer available right here. Well, why is that? Well, the PDF file format cannot capture print substrate and print visualization finishes. So that's why that's only available here through the designer quality. But if you do that, however, you'll see that you really are creating a PDF with a very low res representation. So the purpose of this PDF is truly only to give the recipient a very high level overview and an easy file format to exchange this, right? So even if I crank this up, let's say to 150 pixels per inch, and I activate this avoid artifact right there, and we save this locally here, you'll still see that this is a rather low resolution file. Let's go ahead and give it a second to render. This is what the 3D PDF looks like. So as you can see here, even though we have 150 pixels per inch, a very low quality indeed. So my advice would be to stick with the binary GLTF, which gives you a much higher resolution. You can also set this resolution and avoid artifacts and optimize this for Microsoft Office. And here is what that file looks like. So you can see we can even rotate this, we can scale this, and we can use any other feature here in Microsoft PowerPoint to visualize this. So apart from that, of course, there is the preferred visualizer output that you can export here as an image file right here with a much higher resolution. Okay. Next up, how to simulate printing directly onto the substrate. So here we have an example of a cylindrical body, a bottle, and notice that I have assigned here a label material to it, and for some reason it's colored in a brown tint. So if I go to my material finishing operations, I can see that I have a transparent PE film assigned to this. Okay, so if we want to do a no-look film right here, you are going to want to go and search for the invisible label. So this invisible label is going to apply an imaginary label substrate that can be printed on, but has no appearance by itself. Okay, so it can be used to mimic the appearance of printing directly onto the container. After I finish this, I assign this and I go back to Studio and hit my refresh button, I can still see this darker color. So that is another separate problem, and that is a problem based on the model. So notice that the model that I imported, which is a file here, a 3D file, I have multiple printable parts here, and each of these parts of this plastic container have a color assigned to them. So as I go through this complex model, at a given point you'll encounter the location where that part is located. So that is, in this case, object number 33. And again, make sure to assign the appropriate color, in this case white. So let's keep going through this. It's a guess, you know, or of course you can always assign it in the original application, the 3D application, but here I was able to identify that printable part, and now you can see I have this no look kind of label assigned to it right here. So that's really how easy it is to accomplish this. Okay, on to the next topic. Next up, you have exported your 3D model as a keyshot file or as an image sequence. Now what? Exporting that you can do here from the export menu by picking the keyshot file format, which is a .bip file. you can set the resolution and export. And after you're done exporting, you're able to open this BIP repository in Keyshot. Keyshot is a non-Esko related program, but it's useful in a workflow to further increase the realism of your files. So if we go back here to my Keyshot repository, we can see the BIP file right there, which now gives me this beautiful preset, and we can pick here from different resolutions, different sizes, and the beauty of this is now that I can easily assign different types of materials. So for example, if I'm looking for a plastic, I can search through my materials and I can see these materials and very easily assign those by means of drag and drop onto that substrate. So also in the scene right here, you should be able to see the different surfaces right there. So you can see these when you hover over these. Now this is a complex model that was built up with different subsurfaces, but you're able to select these individually or combined, and then, as I mentioned, assign different kinds of materials. What about the export to a image sequence right here? Once you have exported as an image sequence, the continuation of your workflow would be to go into Adobe Photoshop and open up the very first frame that you have saved. As you pick the frame, in your File Open dialog, you will see an option right here to indicate that this is part of a sequence. So make sure to select this option right here, and you'll notice that Adobe Photoshop recognizes it as a video group right here, which will now allow me here to export this and render this as a video right here. So make sure to use the same frame rate, which in my case was 25 frames per second. And now this will generate my final video output. Also be aware that this is a standard option that you can achieve from the output menu in Studio and export it straight to a video from there. Okay, that wraps up today's topics. Thanks for watching, and thumbs up if you like. Take care.